Welcome to Wake Up Africa, a special segment that we've started to kind of decolonize our minds, open up our hearts to the true possibility of who we are, and to an expanded narrative so that we can expand our power. And really, part of the awakening, a lot of people keep thinking that the awakening is, how are we going to awaken everyone? How are we going to get everyone online? But this awakening, as I said, it's unstoppable because it's like an alarm bell is going off the hearts and minds of every single African across global Africa. There's different communities that have also contacted me and said they're awakening too. All good, all awesome, but we are we have been the most systematically eliminated, systematically targeted by this current system. And so for us, our survival, and rarely have all these other people that are awakening, rarely have they actually, stood with us and stood for our cause and tried to stand up against some of the atrocities that we've experienced. So as much as people say the whole world is awakening, really, we're looking at the global Black family, global African family to see what's happening. And you see, what I told you guys is this world is mental, where it's a mental experience. You're creating all of what you see from up here. So if someone wants to control your reality, if someone wants to control you and place you in a cage like a freaking animal, all they have to do is control your mind. And this is something that the wizards of past discovered, and they started these secret brotherhoods. And basically what they did is they went into Africa, they took our knowledge, they took our sciences, and then they whitewashed those knowledge, whitewashed those sciences, and then hid certain avenues to power from us. And that's how it became secret societies. So as you became initiated, you became exposed or enlightened to what was really happening on earth. And then, they would call the ones who had full knowledge the illuminated ones. Off the whole thing of like the different masters, spiritual masters, because our people were able to do things, let me tell you, control weather, raise people from the dead, build pyramids. Let's just, I don't even need to go further. Build temples in the ground, hundreds of feet deep, like Lalibela in Ethiopia. So, this whole thing has been about controlling our narrative. And what they did, they gave us a language, be it English, be it French. 26 letters. Those 26 letters represent their gods, represent their principalities, and then they take those 26 letters, and from those 26 letters, they create the matrix of our lives. If you think the Chinese language, for example, has over 500 characters and more that you can put together, whereas English only has 26. You see how the wizardry, and so from that, because they're all based on their gods and their worship and their powers, every word you create from the alphabet, alpha, every word you create still binds you, still locks you into their matrix, still locks you into their reality, and limits you from seeing so much more. Now, last week I showed you a really good example of how they lied about the map of Africa. And the map of Africa they show us is 14 times smaller than the real map. And I mean, some of you recommended, I think it was, you can see it right here, I think it was either the Robinson map or one of the maps that you say is much more accurate. And that's the one that we should really be pushing to be the major map that everyone uses. But one of the things that really surprised me, and I've actually looked into this issue, is the fact that they've even lied about the number of Black people on earth. They keep trying to tell us that, Africans globally, we're under 1 billion. Like they say, Africans on the continent of Africa haven't reached 1 billion yet. And then they say that, or maybe now they're saying we're 1.2 billion. And, and they say when you put us all together, we're barely, 2 billion. But someone actually sent me some information, and some people left comments actually, and they showed that allegedly the population of Africa, as we speak, as we stand, as we breathe today, could be closer to 4 billion people. Which shows you that, everything has been done to make us see ourselves as less so that we could be controlled than those that are less than us. in terms of power, in terms of spirituality, in terms of longevity, in terms of mental power, in terms of just even spiritual heritage and where our ancestors came from. Because if I'm the firstborn, if me as a black person, I'm the firstborn on this earth, it means that my blood goes all the way back to the original person. And you know, it's so funny because there's this doctor I interviewed, very interesting character called Dr. Mark Walcott, and we're trying to put his interview together because we must share. And there's a lot of things that he shared with me, but one of the things he said is that, according to him, I don't know if this is true, but he said, you know, O blood was named Old O because it's old blood. It's the oldest blood, so they named it O because it was. Anyway, those are stories for other days. He also told me some magical things about what you can do with water, which I will definitely be sharing in future episodes. But what if, my brothers and sisters, we're out here feeling like we're less than, we're out here feeling like there's so few of us. What if there's many, many, many more of us out there, and that we are actually the majority on this planet, and the only thing that's keeping us enslaved is because we actually believe we're the minority? And that brings me to the recent population report that was released by the UN for 2019 a couple of days ago, which shows that the population is actually going to decline. They're saying that the global population is going to be 9.1 billion people by 2050. But can you imagine, they say that India will surpass sub-Saharan Africa in population size. And this is why I'm saying population control is real. And maybe the reason they're out there exterminating black people is because we're not 1 billion, but we're actually closer to 4 billion strong. What if that's the truth? How can we trust our former colonizer and our former oppressor, our former slave master, to tell us how many people we are? And then we actually believe them. So could it be that we are so many black people on earth and they are so afraid that we'll awaken to this reality? So they are systematically killing us through abortions, through forced sterilization. They're making sure we don't come back, and through all these other things to make us appear like we're less. But a word to the wise, because, you know, sometimes us older souls, us firstborns, have to kind of explain how this world works. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. If you cut my story through abortions, through making through making our mothers have abortions, through killing us, through our food, through reckless murder, we will come back. And we're going to keep coming back, because what is happening now, and I really don't want to lose people, I actually didn't even think I was going to get into this, is that we are in perpetual return, right? Because what they did in trying to enslave our minds, and enslave us, our spirits, and kind of feed off us. And in blocking us in this matrix, they've blocked the way out of this matrix. And so a lot of our ancestors, a lot of our spiritual family keeps coming back because they're trapped on earth because they have unfinished business. So the more they kill black people, the more black people will be born. You know what I mean? The more they kill us, the more we're born. The more they kill us, the more we're born. The more they try to survive, the more they die. You see what I mean? And it's just the way, because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. If you cut short my story today, I'll be back tomorrow to finish it. So there is no way that Mama Earth can be taken from the black nation. Can I make that clear to you guys? We are the ones who spiritually constructed this. And our time, our golden age, is coming right back. And we could actually be 4 billion strong right here on earth. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. Wake up in here, because there's so much power you have that has been trapped in the wrong thinking. In all these stories that they tell us about who we are and what we did and everything. Wake up. Mwah.